We played a little game the other week. First, we showed you this clip. Then we had a little contest to see who can make the most upvoted build. The winner of that contest was Lupin Shadow Omega. Congratulations, Lupin. We're gonna go over the build he created today, but what I didn't expect is Lupin was able to include both Daredevil and Bullseye in the same build, which was something I didn't expect, so well done again. So without further ado, let's jump into the build. Alright, now Lupin was able to give me the bones of the build, but there are some decisions I'm going to have to make. The first of which is our lineage. I'm going to be going variant human, one because Daredevil / Bullseye are human, so it just matches, but also I wanted to pick up the Tavern Brawler feat. The reason why is that I want to be able to pick up anything and throw it just like Bullseye does. On top of that, it does make our hand-to-hand combat a little bit better before we get levels in Monk, which will eventually happen. It also happens to give us a +1 stat in Constitution, so even though we start off with a +1/+1, we're basically like anybody else. We get 3 stats at the beginning. We just don't get to choose where every single one of those stats goes. Speaking of stats, we're going to have our primary in Dexterity, our secondary in Constitution, and our tertiary in Wisdom. As for our level-by-level breakdown, we're going to be going 1 level into Fighter, 3 levels into Ranger, going back into Fighter for 1 more level, and then we're going into Monk for the rest of our career. Let's break it down level by level. Level 1, we're going into Fighter 1. We're going to pick up the thrown weapon fighting style instantly, picking up that Bullseye flavor where we're chucking stuff all the time, trying to do some good damage. Combined with our Tavern Brawler right off the beginning, have fun looking around the room and being like, I want to pick up that vase and yeet it at someone. That seems like a good time to me. In our second level, we're going to be going into Ranger. We're going to get an expertise here. I'm going to be taking it in athletics. Even though we haven't invested in strength by having an expertise in athletics, we're decent grapplers, and as that clip showed, we want to be decent grapplers. Sure, we're a thrown weapons build, but we can tangle in hand-to-hand combat as well, and a piece of that is grappling. Level 2, we're going to get Ranger spellcasting, which, you know, Hunter's Mark is always good when we start getting multi-attacks and start doing a bunch of attacks at once, but for now, you know, it's just going to be okay. More importantly, we're going to be picking up the fighting style. Now here, we are going the blind fighting style. This is the Daredevil side of things, where we can see even when we're completely blind within 10 feet of us. Now level 4 is a big level for us because we're going the amazing Gloomstalker. Gloomstalker is insane, everyone knows it. Now we're going to be adding our wisdom to our initiative, so we're going to be going faster. On top of that, on that first turn, if we're going before other people, we get to make an extra attack. This is really important because we're not getting extra attack for a while. So this is actually going to be a bigger deal for us to make sure that we're trying to stay in line by doing a bunch of burst damage up front, because our damage is going to fall off after that initial turn. And of course, Gloomstalker's most deadly ability is when we are in darkness, people with dark vision can't see us, so we basically get free invisibility, which means we're going to have advantage on all of our attacks, can't be targeted, and disadvantage on all attacks against us. Huge buff. Level 5, we're going Fighter 2. We're going to pick up Action Surge. This combos extremely well with Gloomstalker because on that first turn where we're getting those 2 attacks, we can Action Surge and get 2 more attacks. So we're starting off with a burst turn of at least 4 attacks, but we can also throw in a bonus action offhand light weapon attack if our first attacks were with light weapons as well. From there, we're done with Fighter and we're done with Ranger. Now it's time for Monk. This next level of Monk is going to take away any armor we've been using, but we have invested in Dexterity and in Wisdom, so we're not going to be terrible, although it probably will be a bit of a debuff. More importantly, it's going to give us martial arts, so now we can throw hands. So we're tossing all these objects whenever we feel like. People decide to close the distance with us, and all of a sudden we're freaking martial artists beating the crap out of them, even throwing in a grapple if needed. So I really like that, where, you know, we look like you want to close the distance with us, but when you do, we're just as dangerous up close. Monk 2 is going to give us unarmored movement, so we're going to be faster, and then we're going to get key points for things like Patient Defense or Flurry of Blows. We have Hunter's Mark, and we have Flurry of Blows, and those 2 combined can actually deal quite a bit of damage. So our first turn might look like this: bonus action Hunter's Mark, attack, attack, action surge, attack, attack, and then after that, we might be using the previously set up Hunter's Mark to be doing Flurry of Blows to continue that damage output. Level 3, we're going to become a Shadow Monk, and Shadow Monk is a big level for us. Shadow Monks allow us to be incredible ambushers. By having Pass Without Trace on key points, we can set up ambushes way more often than we would otherwise, and when you get that first turn with Surprise Round, it's basically like you gave the whole team Action Surge, because we all get to do our turn and then the turns begin, and the whole team doing Action Surge is huge. Won't work every time, but when it does, it'll be very powerful. On top of that, we're going to get Silence. We're going to be able to silence spellcasters, go get next to them, and potentially put them in grapples and keep them in there. Alternatively, we have darkness. We can cast darkness, and because we have blind sight, we can fight people where they can't fight us. Fantastic combination for when it doesn't hurt your team as well. Continuing into monk, we're going to get our first ASI. Now, it's really important that we bump our dexterity. We're doing all of our attacks with dexterity. It's our initiative, which enables a lot of what we do, and it's our AC now. So bumping dexterity and then wisdom is going to be hugely important. So basically, we're like any other monk. We're going to be really focused on getting stats over feats. Monk level 5, we're going to get multi-attack. That's a huge buff for us. We've been waiting for it for a while, so we're really thankful to pick it up here. Our martial arts die also gets better, so everything is going to be using a d6 now, at minimum, which is great. We also get stunning strike at this level. Now our wisdom isn't crazy, and we have gotten it at a later level than we would have otherwise. So our stunning strikes aren't going to be where we shine. Sometimes we're going to want to go make sure we get a stun off and use a bunch of key points to make sure that happens, but more often than not, I think we're going to be focusing more on the Hunter's Mark Flurry of Blows combo, as far as our key is concerned. Level 6, we're going to be picking up Shadow Step. Shadow Step allows us to move from one shadow to another as a bonus action, so we're basically teleporting as a bonus action. Yes, it is conditional, but teleporting as a bonus action is very, very powerful. On top of that, our first attack outside of that teleport is going to have advantage. Now, advantage for monks on a single attack isn't as big of a deal as, say, someone with Great Weapon Master, but it doesn't hurt either, so we're happy to see it here. From here, we're just going to go ahead and continue in Shadow Monk. That's going to boost our monk die, it's just going to make us stronger overall. We're going to keep boosting our dexterity into wisdom, and overall, this is a great build. It's really fun to me how we can do a lot of cool things at range, and when they close the distance, we can do a lot of cool things up close. Its only real weaknesses are its few ASIs in the early game and picking up extra attack fairly late. I feel like where this build really shines is how vivid it is. It has this imagery about it when you are picking up random objects and just throwing them in quick succession, and then somebody closes a distance with you, and you're able to instantly go into martial arts and start kicking the crap out of them, or able to grapple them and wrestle them around. I think it's really cool how just visual it feels to me. Then you mix that with the fact that we added a bunch of Shadow Monk to make it more of a ninja, so it can teleport around, hide in the shadows, ambush people, can do a whole bunch of cool stuff. Sounds like a really fun ninja feeling build to me. So I want to give a shout out to Lupin. Thank you so much for your suggestion, and thank you for everyone who voted. We're going to keep playing this game. We're going to put out some more clips, so I would encourage you guys to keep an eye on our shorts so you can play with us and maybe see your build up on the channel. But with that, my friends, I hope you have yourselves an incredible day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace!